Nowadays, globalization has become almost the most fashionable and widespread word. However, do you know what is a globalization in reality? In the next 10 minutes, I will try to summarize the essence of globalization. Of course, you can find many definitions of globalization in the vastness of the global network, I mean the internet. But in general, all definitions boil down to one simple thing. Globalization is a process of both economic, political, cultural, and religious integration and unification. Many people confuse the concept of globalization with widespread modern information technologies, but this is not entirely true. Modern information technologies have only accelerated and deepened the process of globalization. At the same time, some people perceive globalization as a phenomenon, but from my point of view, that is also the wrong approach, because globalization is a natural consequence of socio-political and socio-economic development and evolution of human civilization. I want to say that globalization was unavoidable anyway, and sooner or later humanity had to reach the stage of the globalization. Well, according to historical research, humanity has experienced three industrial revolutions, and just these revolutions have played a key role in the acceleration and expansion of the globalization. Let's take a quick look at some of the features of these industrial revolutions separately. Okay, the first industrial revolution covers the period from the second half of the 18th century to the half of the 19th century. This revolution began in England and lasted for almost 100 years. Starting in England, the Industrial Revolution began to spread rapidly to continental Europe, as well as the United States of America. And what happened during that period? Okay, this Industrial Revolution was a transition to new manufacturing processes, and this transition included going from hand production methods to machines, new chemical manufacturing, and iron production processes, the increasing use of steam power and water power, the development of machine tools, and the rise of the mechanized factory system. The first industrial revolution also led to an unprecedented rise in the rate of population growth. Now let's talk about the second industrial revolution. Well, the second industrial revolution began with the use of the Bessemer method of steel making in the 1860s, and the culmination of this revolution was the spread of inline production and production lines. In the 1860s and 1870s, the technological revolution quickly swept Eastern Europe, the United States of America, and Japan. Unlike the first industrial revolution based on innovation in iron production, steam engines, and the development of the textile industry, the second industrial revolution was based on the production of high-quality steel, the proliferation of railways, electricity, and chemicals. Okay, but what is about the third industrial revolution? Well, the third industrial revolution or digital revolution began in the late 1900s and is characterized by the spread of automation and digitization through the use of electronics and computers, the invention of the internet, and the discovery of nuclear energy. The third industrial revolution is usually referred to as the so-called digital revolution, and during the third industrial revolution there was a widespread transition in production to the use of information and communication technologies, which contributed to the formation of a post-industrial society. However, mass publication about the third revolution appeared at the beginning of the 21st century. In this respect, the book The Third Industrial Revolution, published by Jeremy Rifkin in 2011, is of great interest. Currently, human civilization is going through the fourth industrial revolution, Okay, but what is so remarkable about this revolution? This is the massive introduction of cyber-physical systems into production and the service of human needs, including daily life, work and leisure. The fourth industrial revolution is usually described by indicating the key technologies that are coming soon. These technologies include the collective concepts of upcoming technologies. They are big database, Internet of Things, virtual reality, 3D printing, printed electronics, quantum computing, advanced human-machine interface, artificial intelligence, cyber-physical systems, blockchain, and so on. Well, but who is behind these fantastic scientific implementations? Of course, the globalists, but I consider them not only just globalists, but ultra-globalists. Meet them, William Henry Gates III, or simply Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft Transnational Corporation, an American business magnate, software developer, investor, author and philanthropist. Elon Reeve Musk, an entrepreneur and business magnate, the founder of SpaceX and Tesla Corporation, early-stage investor, the founder of the Boring Company and co-founder of Neuralink Corporation, and of course, the ideological inspired and ideologue of ultra-globalization Professor Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum in Davos and the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation. The books published under his authorship as The Fourth Industrial Revolution, a worldwide bestseller translated into 30 languages, and COVID-19, The Great Reset, aroused and increased and very shocking interest all over the world. And now, let's talk about the positive and negative features of the globalization. What are the advantages, benefits of globalization? Let's consider some of them. Access to new cultures, the spread of technology and innovation, lower cost for products, higher standards of living across the globe, access to new markets, access to scientific innovations, international multiculturalism, managing employee immigration. But what are the disadvantages, negative features of the globalization? Let's consider some of them. The first factor, pollution of the environment, and there can be admitted the next factor. Developed countries try to locate their harmful for the environment factories and works not in their own countries, but in developing countries. The second factor, globalization destroys cultural identity. For example, Europeans usually try to impose their customs and traditions on Asian people. The third factor, transnational corporations prefer to use cheap labor force of developing countries, for instance in Asia, and at the same time they provide their workers with bad and sometimes even awful working conditions. The fourth factor, it is difficult for domestic producers to compete with multinational or transnational corporations, especially if it is an infant industry. When we talk about globalization, it is impossible not to mention the COVID-19 pandemic. After all, this pandemic that has befallen human civilization is also one of the manifestations of globalization. In particular, it should be noted that the methods of dealing with the pandemic are the same in every country. In other words, the COVID-19 pandemic has once again proved that we are living in an era of globalism, and this globalism is already irreversible. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can talk a lot about globalization, about its supporters and opponents, and of course it is impossible to fully reveal the phenomenon of globalization within the framework of a short video. In any case, I have tried to present my own vision of globalization. Good luck to all of you and see you again in my next presentations. Bye.